know that there are no boundaries associated with this, and because of that, we are taking numerous cautions as we move forward. Now, the policy group oversees, as you know, we formed this, we had a proclamation declaring civil emergency, and we set up a committee that is meeting on a daily basis to talk about those things that are going on to keep us updated. This policy group oversees conditions during the civil emergency and makes recommendations on actions necessary to minimize the adverse impact of the civil emergency. In that case, this is the virus, and this includes the amendment of whether it's rules or procedures or other things that the authority that we have under this proclamation. Now, I have advised in the last press conference, we advised organizations and businesses and event planners to consider whether or not they will continue or cancel the event, and I'm happy to say that we've got a great response from that. I have a list. I won't go over the whole list, but I know that you are keeping track of it, but I do want to mention a few from the Playout Square, the Metro Parks, Great Lakes Science Center, Botanical Gardens, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction has been postponed. We have even some church services. The word church is canceled the weekend or three this weekend for church services. The MAC tournament, the Ag Center is closed down its operations for this weekend. We have the various museums, the orchestra, and we have the Wolstein Center is also doing. So there are many groups who are responsible for the gathering of people who are closing down their event or canceling events. And I want to thank them. I want to thank them for their cooperation. Now, just like other businesses and organizations, we're looking at our operation and the effect of all of these changes on our employees and the impact it has on them. And for example, we are reviewing our current HR policies around sick time, as well as essential versus non-essential employees and work-at-home policies, just to name a few things. And we're looking at our reoccurring boards of commission meetings, and where we're having, as you know, we have city planning, board of appeals, all of this, and those meetings sometimes are quite crowded because of people who come there for business. And we're looking at how do we structure that in a way that will be convenient but safe for the people who will have to be there. We're looking at a way to better help residents during this time. So we're saying to the Cleveland water system and the Cleveland Public Power to temporarily cease shutoffs and restore disconnection. As you know, part of the way of preventing is the hand washing and having water and having heat and having all those just basic utilities are essential. So we are stopping cutoffs, and we're doing restoring connections. Now, we want people to protect themselves, and simply put, you need the access to water, as I just mentioned. We're also reviewing all of the city's buildings to raise our standards. We want to sanitize all public buildings, and then we want to maintain that level of cleanliness. So to that end, we are bringing on a company that will do the initial sanitizing, and then we're increasing, I think doubling the number of employees on a temporary basis to maintain that level of cleanliness. In addition, Camp Forbes and the Highland Golf Course banquet facilities will not be permitted for future events until further notice. We're placing a moratorium on AAU travel. This is basketball teams that for AAU that the City of Cleveland sponsors on travel until the end of April, and we have initiated a citywide ban on travel for all City of Cleveland employees until further notice. Now, equally important is our alignment with our other governmental entities, whether it's the county or the state. And as you know, the governor has ordered that prohibiting the gathering of 100 or more persons, and as recommended by the CDC, wherever there are gatherings, to keep a safe distance, which they recommend to be 6 feet. Now, there are, as you know, many unknowns about this virus, still unknown, but we continue to take numerous precautions across multiple departments internally and divisions to protect the safety and well-being of our employees and our citizens. I do want you to know that we continue to work with our hospitals. We talk to them on a daily basis, whether it's the doctors or the hospitals, to see what they are doing. I know that they are setting up protocols as we speak around potential testing and other things, and we will be meeting with them as this the number of cases increase and the demand on their capacity increases. We will be meeting with them to see how we can better coordinate between the public and them, public sector and them, to get the best outcome for the people who need the service. So if you have any questions, there are people here. If I can't answer it, they'll answer it for me, okay? Questions? Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone been affected by any of your employees, or anyone sick? Or
not that I know of. Not that I know of. If it would have been, they'd be quarantined and all that, but not that I know of. I'm not aware of it.
Are you concerned for your own health?
I'm concerned for your health.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm concerned for everybody's health in this room, which includes me. So I mean, it's a virus, and it spreads as a virus. So I'm concerned about the health of all the people.
The travel ban, is that?
Yes.
That's like out of the state?
No, it's travel. If you're working for the City of Cleveland, we start with you're prohibited from traveling. And then if there are mitigating circumstances that absolutely require you, then we'll deal with that on a one-on-one basis. But there's a travel ban for the City of Cleveland employees. Yes, sir.
With the kids off school the next
Right.
3 weeks, is there anything the city's doing to supplement meal programs that the kids depend on for food?
Right.
Breakfasts or lunches or?
Well, no, I know that there are people who are stepping up to and volunteering to provide resources for that, and we'll be in discussion with them. But I want to remind you that during the normal spring break, we never provided food, breakfast, or lunches, and that was taken care of through their families. But there are people who are stepping up and volunteering to provide us resources to do that. So we'll be in discussion with them.
Is there any discussion about the drive-through testing like the fairgrounds?
Right. Well, I know that the health department, the county, and the city health department is working together on that. And I know it's not fully implemented yet, but Merle, if you could talk to them.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. The two health departments are working with all the hospital systems to make sure that this is a coordinated approach and identifying which types of categories of individuals will be tested and all the protocols for that. So that should be forthcoming. We are expecting that there'll be much more information about that in the next probably 48 hours. My name is Meryl Gordon, the director of the health department. Yes.
Real quick, is there any update on numbers? If there's,
Well, all I know of.
They said they've seen a handful of cases. I mean, a handful could be.
A handful of additional cases?
Yeah.
Well, we've heard the same thing. I'm not fully aware of that. That data would go from, let's say, if it happened in Cleveland, it would go to, if they lived in another county, then they would notify that county health department, is my understanding, which then refers it to the state. And I've heard the same thing, but I have not confirmed that.
This may not be something you can answer, but at the stores, there's people like emptying the shelves of all the toilet paper,
Right.
tissues and stuff. Is there any discussion about, I mean, I don't even know what you could do, but if it's a state of emergency, does government get involved at some point because people are like fist fighting over, you know, a roll of paper towel?
Well, that I cannot say to you at this moment. As I said, we have this committee, and that's one of the topics they could look at to see what authority we have. I know, I think Mr. Yates, what is his title? Yost. Mr. Yost has issued some statements around gouging and processes in that regard.
Do you anticipate you'll hold a briefing tomorrow?
No, not on a daily basis. If something of emergency occurs, that, you know, yes. This is more so that we can keep you engaged in it. What we will do, however, is release stuff on a daily basis. It will not be a press event, but we will be giving out information as we know it. Anybody else?
This may be too early also, but is there anything taking place, like, in terms of if there was widespread infection? Are there like, certain employees working out of certain locations to stay away from people, like, so that there is always someone like at the command center or ready to go?
Well, that's part of what this committee is looking at, and when we're looking at our HR policies, our essential employees, non-essential, who can work from home, who cannot work at home, they have to come in, those kind of things. And if there's an impact on essential employees, then what do we do to fill that gap? So those are the kinds of things that we're currently reviewing.
Do you have a timeline in place for everything that's been happening with the water system and making sure that people do have access to water regardless of?
Darnell?
Good afternoon. My name is Darnell Brown, Chief Operating Officer for the City of Cleveland. The announcement the mayor made is going into effect immediately, and so that the discontinuing of service has already been stopped. We'll be putting out a release that will give numbers both for